Yo, what is up? This is DevineYGO, and as you guys can see in the title of the video and on screen, this is going to be an interesting take on Tearlaments and Evil Twin. So if you guys already, if you guys have been following the channel for a while, or if you guys know me, Evil Twin is like my main deck that I mainly play, and I'm always trying to find like different variations of Evil Twins and trying to find different ways to play the deck. And I was like, you know what, Tearlaments actually can kind of synergize a little bit. Obviously this build's not going to be the most optimal or the strongest compared to like Danger Tier or like Branded Tier. This is just a more like, I guess, a for fun version of Tearlaments. But it works out kind of cool. Again, it's an interesting deck and an interesting way to see both archetypes. But anyways, so I'm going to go through the deck profile. I might do a test hand or two, and then after the deck profile showing you guys all the cards, I will explain my thought process on building this deck. But yeah, anyways, without further ado, let's just get right into it. So first off, we're playing triple copies of Life Twin Lila. This is the main twin starter you want to see in your hand, as well as 2 copies of Lila Treat. So normally you would play only 1 copy of Treat, but for this build specifically, we play 2. Honestly, I thought about bumping it up to 3 just to test it out and take out one of the Lilas, because this deck, as of right now, the deck is currently in like its testing phases. So I was thinking about taking out 1 Lila Treat for, not 1 Lila Treat, 1 Lila for the 3rd Treat, because the deck, in my opinion, I think it has a little bit too much normal summons in the deck. So yeah, that's just something I thought about. And because we do mill in the deck, milling out our treats isn't really that bad, but we at least want 1 in the deck to summon off of like Kiss a Kill, which we are playing 2 of because we play triple copies of the Kiss a Kill Frost. So basically my Lilith lineup will look exactly like my Kiss a Kill lineup right now, or at least I thought about trying it that way, but for now it's been okay. And then we're playing triple Frost because Frost is really good in the graveyard. But if you guys know the Tearlament cards, the Tearlaments need Aquas to fusion summon with, and Kiss a Kill Frost is actually an Aqua. So if you mill off Frost, or if let's say you normal summon Lila's effect summon out Frost, and then you use Link Summon into your Evil Twin Kiss a Kill, you have a Frost in the graveyard. And then let's say you activate Shiren's effect in hand, summon itself, send a monster to the graveyard from your hand. Mill 3. If you mill a Tearlament card or a Tearlament monster, to fusion summon, you can fuse back the Frost back into the deck. But yeah, Kiss a Kill Frost was one of the reasons why I thought Tearlament twins could be potentially a thing. And then for the Tearlament portion of the main deck, we have triple copies of Rhinoheart. So again, as I said, I feel like this deck has just slightly too many normal summons, especially like with the other Tearlament monsters also being normal summonable. I don't really want to see too many normal summons or like draw normal summons off of the Kiss a Kill effect. But yeah, Rhinoheart, it's basically the 1 card starter into your Tearlament plays. And then we play triple copies of Tearlament Shiren. This card, along with the twin starters, is actually one of the better hands in my opinion, because if you can establish the Evil Twin line on board and then activate Shiren, and then if you get lucky and mill off like the Tearlament stuff, you can get both the Evil Twin plays and the Tearlament plays on board, which is actually pretty cool to do. I've done it a couple of times, it's pretty fun. And then we have triple copies of Havnus. This is the Tearlament hand trap. Your opponent activates a monster effect, you can activate Havnus in hand, special summon her, and then mill 3. And then triple copies of Merly. On summon, it sends the top 3 cards of your deck to the graveyard. And then Shiren, Havnus, and Merly all share the same effects. If they're sent to the graveyard by a card effect, you can fusion summon. But yeah, for the Tearlament count, it's just very standard. It's just maxed out on everything. And then I do play a small danger package. I'm playing triple copies of Bigfoot. And so Bigfoot is actually helped out a lot. Because like, if your opponent activates like Rivalry on you, you're kind of screwed. Because Warrior or Rhinoheart's a Warrior, the Tearlaments are Aquas, the twin starters are Cyburst, and then Treat is a zombie. So Rivalry is going to hurt quite a bit. So being able to use Bigfoot's effect, if it's discarded, you can target the like a Rivalry or a Floodgate that's troubling you and just destroy it. And then I'm playing 1 copy of Thunderbird just for another danger monster, or like a danger count. And then I'm playing 1 copy of Nessie. This is supposed to be 3. I just don't have my copies of Nessies. So yeah, we're just playing 1 for now. I'm actually borrowing this from a buddy of mine. So I still have to get triple copies of Nessie for myself. When I do get triple copies of Nessie, I will be taking out Thunderbird for the second Nessie, and then I'll have to look around to see what to take out for the third Nessie, but for sure triple Nessie, because it is also an Aqua. And that is the monster lineup. Onto the spells. We got 2 copies of Sunny Snitch. It's just to help search out the twins. That's pretty much it. 1 copy of Live Twin Home in case we have to normal summon our Rhino Heart and do our plays that way. We'll do our tier plays first, and then if we have enough bodies on board, or we have an extra body on board, we can go Live Twin Home, summon out a twin, and hopefully if we milled a twin or the counterpart twin, we can still go into our Evil Twin lines of play. And then next, I'm playing 2 copies of Tearlament's Grief. So this is a card, a new Tearlament card that came out of the Darkwing Blast set. So this card, you special summon a Tearlament monster or Visa Starfrost from your deck or graveyard. Then send 1 monster you control to the graveyard with the same type or attribute as the special summoned monster. If this card is sent to the graveyard by card effect, you can target one of your banished Tearlament traps, add it to your hand. You can only use 1 Tearlament Grief effect per turn, and only once that turn. And then we play 2 copies of Triple Tactics Talent. I mean, you already know what Triple Tactics does. It's a good card. And then I played 2 copies of Super Poly, not 3, just because I wanted to lower the spell and trap count. Because I started milling too many spells and not enough monsters to actually do anything with. So I decided to bump down the Super Poly. And plus, we can pretty much hard make all the fusions in our extra deck. So Super Poly is just kind of just here as a board breaker. And then to end the spells, we just play 1 Called by the Grave. And then for the traps, we play 2 copies of Suliak. And we also play just 1 Meta Noise. This is our trap lineup right here, just these 3 cards. So Suliak, if you control a Tearlament monster or Visa Starfrost, you can target an effect monster your opponent controls, negate its effects, and then send a monster you control to the graveyard. And if this card is sent to the graveyard by card effect, you can add 1 Tearlament monster from your deck to the hand. So something you could do with Suliak, if you don't open up the your other Tearlament monsters like Shiren or something, but you open up your twins, you can go full twin combo, and then just like you do with the Unchained twins, you can set Suliak, and then use Lila's effect to pop the Suliak. Suliak's effect in Grave will add you the Havnus. You will be gambling a little bit, but yeah, Suliak will add the Havnus to your hand, and then you use your Kiss Kill and Lila to go into Trouble Sunny. And then your opponent's turn, obviously they're going to activate a monster effect at some point. You'll activate Havnus whenever you need to, and then yeah, it just really depends on what you mill there. And then Meta Noise, if you control a Tearlament's monster or Visa Starfrost, target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls, change it to face down defense position, and then send 1 Tearlament monster from your deck to the graveyard. If this card is sent to the graveyard by card effect, you can target 1 Tearlament monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand. So Book of Moon, and also it dumps a Tearlament monster directly from your deck to the grave, which is really good. But yeah, that is the spell and trap lineup. Onto the extra deck. So I'm playing 2 copies of Evil Twin Kiss-a-Kill, and 2 copies of Evil Twin Lila. And then honestly, I feel like this is like the standard ratios in terms of like mixing Evil Twins with other decks or other archetypes. And then we play 2 copies of Trouble Sunny, and then we play 2 copies of Sprite Elf. Elf brings back the Evil Twins, really nice. Also brings back Marley. And then we play 1 copy of Nightmare Griffin. We can make it very easily because of the Evil Twin lineup. But honestly, most of the time, I only make Griffin if I have access to Elf, because I don't like putting Griffin in the extra monster zone. I like putting him in a zone that Elf points to. It gives Griffin that targeting protection, as well as putting it in my main monster zones, not giving our opponents an arrow to work with. And then onto the fusions, we play 1 Kid Catlos, 1 Kaleido Heart, 1 Mud Dragon, 1 Garuda, and 2 copies of Draco's Tapalia. Double Draco's Tapalia, it's also really nice, like getting both of them on field as well, because Draco's Tapalia is not a hard once per turn. So if you have 2 on field, you can activate both copies' effects. Alright, so before I go into the test hand, the thought process of building this deck was, again, I was looking at originally I played Evil Twin Sprite, and I was like, okay, you know, this is, I mean, Evil Twin Sprite, we already know it's a good deck. It's a strong deck. Hello, so this is Editor Devin. So I decided to re-record this part of me explaining my thought process on building the deck and like why I built it, because the original take I did not explain too well. So I'm gonna take the time to try and explain it a little bit better. So the reason why I ended up building this version was because it was just a bunch of like experimenting and a lot of just searching for ways to play around stuff. So for example, like one of the bigger reasons was Sprite Twins. The board you set up is a lot more oppressive than what you do with like any other build that I've played. But Sprite Twins hard loses to Dark Ruler No More. I mean, you could say the same thing that a lot of other decks pretty much die to Dark Ruler No More as well. But I was like, you know what? For example, like Tearlaments, if you Dark Ruler No More them, they still can kind of play a little bit through it, depending on what they have. And then like if you just Dark Ruler No More and then you just mass board wipe with like Darkhold or Lightning Storm or something like that, the Tearlament monsters will still get effects because they're being sent to the graveyard by card effects, essentially making Dark Ruler No More not really that great against Tear. So I was like, okay, does Tear and Evil Twin, can they like, is there like some kind of synergy there? And then I was like, okay, so Tearlaments, they use a Tear monster as well as like Aquas to fusion summon. And I was like, okay, Kill Frost is an Aqua. And then another thing is like, for example, if you have a twin in hand and then you use the Tear effects to mill off one of the counterpart to the twin that you have in your hand, if you can get the twin in your hand summoned onto the field and go into like Kill or Lila, whichever one you have, you essentially have the Evil Twin line of play live, or at least the route opened for you. I don't really know how to explain that any better. It definitely could be explained a lot better of what I'm trying to say, but hopefully you guys get it. Hopefully you guys understand what I'm trying to say. If not, I apologize. I don't know how to explain it. And then another thing that I saw that kind of synergized a little bit, for example, like on your opponent's turn, if you use the Evil Twin Link 2 effects to summon each other back out, and then let's say, for example, you activate Havness afterwards, you summon Havness, mill 3, and let's say you mill off one of the Tearlament monsters to allow you to fusion summon. Due to the Evil Twin effects, you're locked from summoning anything else from the extra deck except Fiend monsters, and Kaleidoheart is a Fiend. So if you're locked under Fiends because of the Evil Twin effects, if you mill a Tearlament monster and you have access to Kaleidoheart, you can still summon Kaleidoheart. So that's also another thing that's pretty cool, that synergizes a little bit. And then it came down to comparing Sprite Twins, like their end board versus Dark Ruler No More, compared to the Tearlament Twins versus Dark Ruler No More. So if this, again, the Sprite Twins board gets Dark Rulered, you're kind of screwed. Not really much you can do about it. You'll probably have follow-up for at least one more turn or one more board setup, and that's it. But the Tearlament Twin board, from what I've been experiencing so far, if you get Dark Rulered and your opponent like Lightning Storms or something, you're not in a bad spot. You'll get the Tearlament monster effects to kind of hold your ground until it reaches your turn again. So yeah, experimenting with the Tearlaments with Twins was basically to see if the Tearlaments would help Evil Twins kind of play through Dark Ruler. Well, not really necessarily play through Dark Ruler, but, you know, not completely die to it. And then another thing, kind of like the cherry on top. So Evil Twin Trouble Sunny, the Link 4, was something that I wanted to try getting out onto the field for my end board. Sprite Twins does not allow you to play Trouble Sunny, or allow you to set up Trouble Sunny turn 1, whereas the Tearlament Twin version actually does allow you to. So that's another plus. That, again, that's like the cherry on top for me for playing the Tearlament version. But yeah, that's basically the general explanation of why I built this version. I was just trying to see if I could build an Evil Twin deck that can kind of like play through Dark Ruler or like those kind of like destruction effects, like mass removal, and to just not outright die to those kind of cards. But yeah, anyways, without further ado, I'm just gonna do one test hand real quick, just to show you guys the like a realistic hand that you'll get with this deck. And then, yeah, that'll probably be the end of the video. So let's go ahead and give this deck a shuffle, and let's get to it. Alright, let's see what we draw. Oh man, it's really hard to see the deck on here. But, okay, we got one copy of Havnus, Meta Noise, Triple T, Havnus, and Rhinoheart. So we only have access to our Tearlament plays. So yeah, I guess we'll see what we can do here. Yeah, we'll obviously normal summon the Rhinoheart. Rhinoheart's effects, we're gonna dump our copy of Merly. Merly's effects, we'll go ahead and use Rhinoheart and Merly to go ahead and fuse into the Kit Kalos. Kit Kalos effects, we're going to actually search our copy of Merly and then use Kit Kalos effect, targeting herself, sending herself to the graveyard, and then special summoning Merly. We're going to go ahead and use Kit Kalos effect, chain 1, Merly's effect, chain 2. So Merly will mill 3. Okay, we got 1 twin engrave, and then Kit Kalos will mill 5. Let's see if we... Okay, we got another one. Nessie. Okay. So unfortunately we cannot fuse, but we will use Soliak's effect to search a Tearlament monster. So we're gonna go ahead and add the Shiren, and then we're gonna activate the Shiren, summoning herself, discarding the Havnus, and then mill 3. Well, that's kind of unfortunate. But we will use the Havnus effect. We're gonna actually shuffle back the Havnus. Well, not shuffle back, but Havnus, and we're gonna use Nessie to summon out the Garuda. And then we're gonna use Garuda and the Merly, go into our copy of Sprite Elf, and then Garuda's effect in graveyard, we'll draw a card. We drew Frost. That's not horrible. Means we don't have, or means we can go into our Evil Twin lines a little bit easier without using too much resources. We'll use Elf effect, targeting the Treat special. And then we'll go ahead and special summon the Frost. Go ahead and link off for the Kiss a Kill. Kiss a Kill's effect. Bring back Lilla, and then we'll go ahead and link off again for our copy of Evil Twin Lilla. Summoning Shiren here was probably a mistake, but we'll work with it. And then we'll use Lilla's effect, summon back the Kiss a Kill. Kiss a Kill's effect will allow us to draw another card. We drew into a Rhinoheart, so that's not horrible. That means if we mill off a tier monster with Havnus effect during our opponent's turn, we can actually go into Kaleidoscope. Or I keep calling him Kaleidoscope, Kaleidoheart. And then we'll link those off for a... We could go Nightmare Griffin here, which honestly would, like in most cases, would be a better play. But just for the example, I'm going to go ahead and summon the Trouble Sunny. And then we're going to go ahead and set the Meta Noise. And then we're going to, yeah, pass turn from here. So from here, we do have, since we have multiple Frosts in the graveyard, and well, I mean, not even just multiple Frosts, we have multiple like Aquas in the graveyard. We're going to go ahead and, if our opponent adds a card from their deck to the hand, and in most cases they will, we'll use Frost, banish herself, and we'll draw a card. We drew Lilla, that's horrible. And then let's say we use Havnus effects, we'll mill 3. Okay, so we mill Merly, so we'll use Merly's effect, fuse herself and the Garuda to go into our copy of Dracostapelia, and then we can use Meta Noise, changing one of our opponent's monsters to face down, and then we'll send a tier monster from our deck to the graveyard. So we'll go ahead and send the Havnus because we have not activated her effect yet. Havnus effect, we'll go ahead and use her, and just to clear up the board a little bit, we'll use another Havnus. Actually, no, we'll use the Shiren just to open up the space, and then we'll use Rhinoheart to go ahead and summon out the Kaleidoheart. And Kaleidoheart will shuffle back one of our opponent's cards, and also has the Elf protection. And then we can also use Trouble Sunny's effects, tripping herself off, summoning out Kiss a Kill and Lilla, getting a draw, chain 1, and a pop, chain 2. and we draw home, or we draw into home. That's not the greatest, but yeah, this is pretty much the goal of the deck. It's just summon out the fusions to help interrupt, having the evil twins to draw advantage, as well as destroying your opponent's stuff on field. Having elf to protect your cards from card effects, just making your plays a little bit more safer. This is pretty much, I'm not gonna lie, this was pretty much ideal for what you want to see, minus like the drawing the trash stuff, but I mean, it's gonna happen. So, but yeah, that is the deck profile. Hope you guys enjoyed it. This is just a unique take on Tearlaments and evil twins, being able to combine them together and getting the evil twin draw and pop effect, as well as getting out like Kaleido Heart and Dracostapelia on field. Tearlament twins compared to Sprite twins, Tearlament twins does definitely have a better grind game, just because Kaleido Heart can bring himself back. And also, one thing I forgot to mention was I will be adding the new Tearlament fusion monster we just got in Darkwing Blast into the deck. I just don't have a copy of her yet. But yeah, I will definitely be making room for her in the deck. But until then, for now, this is the build I'm currently working with. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. If you liked the video, hit that like button and subscribe for more. And this is DevineYGO signing out. Peace.